Hello everyone, and welcome to the draft analysis for our brand new league that we are participating in. We are in the Wi-Fi division of MMC, which I'm going to stands for Mons of Mischief and Chaos. I hope I'm getting that right. I'm pretty sure that's what it stands for. Crazy logo with all the Sylvanas and the Aegis/Shield and the Buzzwole. But anyway, yeah. So our team, the Towering Titans, are taking part in this season of the league. Actually, I have no clue what season this is for them. I think they've had at least one Wi-Fi season for this. But anyway, yeah, let's get right into the team. So going into this draft, I had one thing in mind for this, and that was I'm definitely not repeating the hyper offensive team of PUDL. It's been doing well, but it's also been giving me way too much anxiety, having like no bulk on my mons outside of Terrapagos and Wheezing. So I wanted a much more defensive team, and I also wanted a team that finally isn't weak to ground, because I feel like every team I draft is so weak to ground. So I wanted something that isn't weak to ground for once. So yeah, that was the mindset going into this, and yeah, I believe we had 8th pick of the draft. I want to say 8th. We were very middle of the pack, as always. We always get middle of the pack. So yeah, it was a bit difficult to draft, but first, I would also like to mention that there were a lot of changes I made in Grace. So a lot of the picks might look a little bit weird, but I'll explain them when we get to them. So yeah, let's get right into the analysis. First of all, you can probably immediately tell what the naming theme we've gone for this time is. Marvel Rivals. I'm no good at the game, but I sure do enjoy it, so I thought I'd hop on the nickname theme. So yeah, as you can see, we have Moon Knight, the Gliscor. And you can probably, your first impression is, why is there a Landorus in the bottom left corner? That is because we did not pick Gliscor turn 1. Our first pick was Landorus Therian, which I saw on the board and I was like, great great mon, great offensive mon, not weak to ground, immune to ground in fact. But in Grace, there was another mon that I have on the team that I thought synergized really well with Gliscor instead of Landorus, so we did make some trades to be able to get Gliscor onto the team. So, unfortunately, Landorus is no longer with us, but we have Moon Knight the Gliscor to replace it. What can I say about Gliscor? Such a great mon. That ability, Poison Heal, running Toxic Orb is just so bulky on that physical side. 75 HP, 125 defense is crazy. You can even make it Spadef. It's very, very solid speed, Terra 95 as well. And it's got a 95 attack, which is just super, super strong. Like, great moves, EQ, knockoff, U-turn, do wing beat, just protect to be able to get your orb up. Like, it's also great. Toxic Spike, Stealth Rock, every hazard that you need. This thing is just such a great wall and such a great strong first pick. It's going to be super. I've never used it before, but from everywhere I've seen it being used, it's a super, super reliable mon and a great hazard setter. So I think it's a great first team member. Obviously, there's also the option to run it more offensive as well. You could run it like a Scarf or Bandit set. Hyper Cutter, preventing Intimidates, and other ways of lowering his attack is obviously Sandveil was banned, so we can't use that. But that is such a strong option for us to be able to run. So this thing is going to be really, really fun to use, and I'm excited to see all the different crazy sets. I'm not going to be running a special Gliscor, that is for sure. 45 special attack is way, way too low for that, but we'll see anyway. Next up, this is the mon, the synergy that I wanted, and that's Adam Warlock, the Goldengo. This was actually our second pick during the draft, and oh my god, it is such a great mon. 133 special attack is massive, and you have that signature move in Make It Rain, which is just so, so powerful. Like, this thing is great coverage, Shadow Ball. Power Gem, Thunderbolt, Focus Blast, whatever you need, this thing can really do. It can be a physical wall, it can be a special wall with things like AV, it can be Colbur Berry, it has recovery and recover, it has nasty plot to set up, it can be a Scarf set, it can be a Spec set, it can trick Specs or Scarf. This thing is so, so good, and I'm really, really excited to use it. It's the de facto best spin blocker in the entire game with Good as Gold. What a great ability. Being immune to most status moves. Is just so strong. It blocks defogs, it blocks rapid spins. What more could you want from this thing? It's such a great reliable mon, and it's such great synergy with Gliscor being able to soak up those ice type moves that want to hit into Gliscor and act as a special wall, which when Gliscor wants to deal with physical attackers instead. It's such a great Pokemon, and I'm really excited to use it. Let me just pull up this thing on Showdown, like Dazzling Gleam as well. It can run like hex sets. It has screens, I'm pretty sure as well. Yes, screens. This thing can do so many things. It could even just go for a Memento and with a Scarf to allow other setups. That T-Wave as well is really strong. This thing is such a great mon, and I'm really excited to use it. Next up, we have Lunasnow the Primarina. We needed a bulky water, and I also wanted to grab fairy types because I wanted a good strong fairy. And Primarina is a really great one. Once again, not that it's that speed tier, it's the lowest speed tier we've got so far at 60 base speed, but it's really good. Good special wall. As well with 116 speed F and 80 HP and 126 special attack. This thing is so strong. Liquid Voice, Hyper Voices, Surfs. It can flip turn for momentum. Outside of Gliscor, which had U-turn, it was our second momentum one, which is really nice. Yeah, this thing can just do so much. It has Calm Mind setup. It has Encore. Energy Ball is really nice on a water type, so that's really good. I mean, just Moonblast from this thing. Just it can flip turn around. It can haze. Yeah, it's a second screener. Like it can just do so many different things, and yeah, it's just so strong, and it's a great fairy water. You obviously on any draft team you want a strong bulky water and a bulky fairy type, and this thing does both in one Pokemon. For 14 points as well, which I thought was really good point total to grab it at. So yeah, I'm really excited to use this mod. I feel like I've said that for every single Pokemon, but in my drafts I always try to grab Pokemon I've never used, and Pokemon I'm excited to use. So yeah, I'm excited to use this team. But yeah, Lunasnow the Primarina. I would like to mention as well that the vibe I was going for in nicknames is we want 3 supports, 3 DPS, 3 tanks, and 1 other thing we'll get to. But yeah, so we got our second support in Lunasnow the Primarina. Next up, we've got our first tank, Groot the Zarude. 13 points, just that one ability, Leaf Guard, not the greatest. But yeah, we wanted something with a bit more speed and offense, and we got our first above 100 base speed mon in 105 Zarude. Spoiler alert, there's not going to be much above 100. This seems very bulky. And also such great physical bulk on 105 HP, 105 defense, 95 speed F. This thing, 120 attack. This thing is great stats. Obviously, that grass typing isn't the best, and that's usually where people are put off from this thing, because like being 4 times weak to U-turns is not great in draft. But yeah, this thing, I think it's got a good moveset, like strong stab knockoffs from this thing hurt a lot. This thing could be a Scarf set. This thing can be bulk up. It can be a bunch of things. This thing gets Encore as well, which I just saw now. It's very interesting. It's like CC, acrobatics, strong grass moves and things like Power Whip, Seed Bomb. It's got low kick. It could be like base 70 special attack with nasty plot. Could be a possibility as well. It's got decent special coverage. So yeah, that could be an option, like Dark Pulse, Giga Drain, like Leaf Storm as well. Yeah, this thing has Roar is nice as well. Taunt, fast taunts, Synthesis plus Jungle Healing, Swords Dance setup, U-turning around, Trailblazing. This thing can do a lot of things. Obviously that the typing is the one thing about it, but I feel like we can get a lot out of this mon if we can use the right sets for the right opportunities. And this thing could just be able to just beat teams on its own. So that's something that we definitely needed, a bit more offense on the team. And I think Zarude was the right option for that. It also gives us our first ground resist. Obviously, we had the Goldenga weakness in the Gliscor immunity, but this is our first ground resist, which is really nice. So yeah, let's get on to mon number 5. We have Human Torch the Talonflame, second flying type, fire flying. We complete that fire water grass core, 10 points, such a great mon. We get that 126 speed, which outspeeds so many Pokemon in the format. This thing can be run like a physical bulky set. This thing has the defog as well, gives us our first way of removing hazards, outside of setting them up, which we had via Gliscor. Flame Body, getting Flame Body burns. Gale Wings is such a great signature ability as well, being able to, if we want to, just run like a banded set or some sort of offensive set and just be able to have priority Brave Birds, priority defogs, priority Hurricanes as well as a possibility. This thing can do a lot. It has Swords Dance, so even though it's got base 81 attack, it can boost itself up and make itself into a decent mon. It's got very fast taunt, as well, which is really nice. It's yeah, we could run it physical or special. Overheat and Hurricane are great options on the special side. Brave Bird, Flare Blitz on the physical side, and it can U-turn around as well, which is really nice. So yeah, this thing is a great, just solid mon to be able to both fill in that fire type slot for us and also be able to be our first like good remover. Obviously, being 4 times weak to rocks on your remover isn't the greatest, but we can just run boots on it really reliably just because it's such a great item on it. And we punish those knockoff users with flame bodies potentially. So yeah, this is a great mon for the team. It gave us that speed that we really needed because Zarude and Talonflame are basically our only mons above 100 base speed on this team. It's a very bulky team. But yeah, that's what Talonflame offers us for this our team. Next up, we have our first Terra Captain, Mantis the Goodra. When I first went into this draft, I immediately looked to the board and I said, I want to use Terra Goodra. I've used Hisuian before and I've never used the regular, so I thought this thing is actually really good. I was looking at stats. 90 HP with 150 speed def is so bulky. 80's base speed isn't even bad. And 110 special attack and 100 attack is super good. Plus you have the immunity to grass types via Sap Sipper, the ability to slow things down, slow physical attackers down with Gooey. And I haven't even talked about our Terra types. We have obviously Terra Dragon. Terra Dragon Draco Meteors are going to hurt so much from this thing. They're going to hit so hard. It's going to be so hard to swap into it. So yeah, that is going to be something that I think a lot of people are going to underestimate from this thing. A lot of people are going to underestimate. Obviously, they're going to be expected to come as like a special tank and then just be surprised when they get absolutely obliterated by those moves. We also have the Terra Poison and the Terra Steel, both types. Terra Steel obviously is so good on this. For a dragon type, Terra Steel, you just resist all of your weaknesses from your dragon typing. That's really good. And Poison is because this Goodra has Toxic. So we get 100% accurate Toxics. We also get boosted Sludge Bombs. And yeah, this thing has so much coverage. Scald, Flamethrower, Dragon moves, obviously. Just going down the list. I believe it has like Ice Beam as well. Obviously Poison moves, Sludge Bomb, Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, and Weather Ball. Super solid moves. And then it also, that base 100 attack stat is definitely nothing to scoff at. It has Curse, so it can set up. On the physical side, it has moves like Aqua Tail, Body Press, Dragon Claw, Outrage for stab. We have EQ, we have Fire Punch, we have Focus Punch, we have Knock, we have Power Whip, we have Rock Slide, we have Thunder Punch. We have a lot of coverage on this thing. This thing can basically, like, built in Ice and Electric moves is great as well because no resistances to that. Plus our Dragon, it's just such a great Terra Captain. Do I regret making it a Terra Captain? No, I do not. I still think that it was the right mindset going in with this thing as a Terra Captain, and I do think this thing is going to surprise a lot of people who underestimate it as a Terra Captain, so I'm excited to use it, to see how it does. Next up, we have our second traded mon, which is Venom the Okidogi. I initially wanted a Hisuian Quillfish or a Overcore in this slot, and they both got sniped literally back to back just before I got my pick on this round. In the end, I really needed, at the time, I didn't have Gliscor, I had Landorus, so I really needed a Hazard Setter. So we picked up Clodsire. No offense to Clodsire, but I just really do not like having him on that slow. And even though it has the Unaware and Water Absorb and Poison Point and all the hazards, I just don't like it as a thing. I just feel like it's way too passive of a defensive mon. I like my defensive mons to have a bit of a attacking edge to them. So yeah, we trade after we picked up Gliscor, we didn't really need the double all hazard stack mons that have access to all three hazards. So we did, as part of the trade of Landorus, trade away Clodsire, and we got in Okidogi. So we got a grounded poison, so we can absorb toxic spikes, and we also get a strong fighting type. Obviously Okidogi is hitting that 8 base speed, which is a little bit like around the rest of our mons, like the same as Goodra, like around the Goldengo range as well. But yeah, this team, obviously, I think if there's one weakness of our team, it's definitely our speed stats. But yeah, this thing is so good. Like two great abilities. It's the Toxic Chain. Obviously, being able to Toxic Poison on any move we click into something is crazy. Such a great ability. I don't know how that thing became a real ability. And then we have Guard Dog, which I didn't even know what Guard Dog did before I drafted this Pokemon. Well, like I'd heard of it, but I never had actually seen it in action. But yeah, we are immune to intimidates. In fact, intimidates give us +1, which is crazy, and we also cannot be swapped out. So this thing loves running like bulk upsets. We can't be roared or dragon tailed out off while we're bulked up, which is really really good. When we have base 115 defense and base 128 attack, if we get a bulk up, physical mons are not going to be able to break through us easily. Like obviously we have that glaring psychic weakness, but if we're running like an AV, base 86 Bedef with base 88 HP is nothing to scoff at. That is really, really tough to break through. If you don't have psychic moves, this thing is really, really difficult to kill. And when it has great coverage with moves like high horsepower, knockoff, obviously fighting stab and poison stab with gunk shot, poison jab, CC, drain punch as an option as well. We have like, I think there's more as well. Like we get like obviously like fire punch, we get ice punch. We get low kick, psychic fangs as well to break screens alongside brick break is also really really nice. We have shadow claw, we have stormy tantrum, we have thunder punch. Obviously we have taunt as well, and we also have the toxic, and we have raw. Oh yeah, we have a lot of great moves on this thing. Crunch as well. So yeah, this thing is such great coverage. Obviously we're not going to be using that special attacks. That it doesn't really get great special coverage anyway. But this thing is hits hard, physical 1, does damage. That's what Okie Dokie does. That's what Venom does. Next up, we have Vikavolt. We get a Levitator. After we draft them 1 week to poison, we gotta pick up something that's either resistant or immune to keep the dream alive. And yeah, we have Hella the Vikavolt with Levitate. We have an I always love having an electro type immune to ground. It's just super super strong, and 145 special attack is crazy. This thing hits like a truck with Volt Switches, Thunder Waves, Bug Buzzes, Energy Ball access. This thing actually counters ground types because of its Levitate plus Energy Ball access. And we have webs. So we have access to webs. Our weakness was speed, so we picked up something that can help with that because we all have a lot of mons around that base 80-90 range, and with 1 sticky web drop, suddenly they're like really really fast, and now speeding a lot of the 100 to 120 base speed Pokemon. So yeah, we even have Mud Shot to take on other electric types. We have like Air Slash. We have Baton Pass. I do not know that we had that. We have Flash Cannon, obviously. Obviously, this thing could have been our Terra Captain. We could have made the points work instead of Gudra. Maybe that's a bit better. We might change that depending on how the season goes with Gudra and see how well it does as a Terra Captain. But for now, I think Gudra is going to be is a better Terra Captain than this. This thing just hits so hard. It doesn't really... I don't think it needs a Terra Captaincy. It sets up the webs. If we need it, we can lead it with like Focus Dash lead, get webs up, and then use Goldengo to basically just prevent our opponents ever getting rid of them. We can Volt Switch around with this thing. We can run like a spec set and just absolutely nuke things. We can use Bug Buzz as a sound move to break through substitutes, stop setup. We have Energy Ball to hit opposing ground types that want to swap in on us. We have Mud Shot for opposing electric types. This thing is just so good. As a damage dealer, but its bulk is not the greatest. We are going to crumble to a lot of hits, but we can use stuff like AV and also defensive investment to be able to mitigate that. And I think Sash is going to be something that we're going to have to run on this a lot. But outside of that, I think this thing is really, really good, and I'm excited to use it as well. Which, by the way, I just want to say I've been using the shiny sprites for all of these guys, and Vikavolt is such a good shiny. Whoever made this shiny needs to get a raise. Next up, we have that one thing that I was talking about, and that is Galacta. Galacta's going to be the guardian of the team, watching over us and telling us when the point is being pushed by the enemy team and we're all dead, and Galacta just wants to remind us that we need to push the cart. Thanks, Galacta. You're so wise. Anyway, back from my Marvel Rivals crash out. This thing is really, really fun. 7 points is, I think, a steal for what is essentially a great Wish supporter. 120 HP Wishes are so good with Baton Pass, Wish Passer. This thing is such a great option. And it has 3 incredible abilities. Kudzu to be able to double things like Citrus Berries. Armor Tail to completely shut down priority mons. Sap Zipper to become immune to grass. We actually have double immunity to grass on this team. I didn't realize that we both had double Sap Zipper. But yeah, it has 110 special attack, which is respectable. 60 base speed. This mon does have Trick Room, so if the sticky webs do fail us, we can always just set up a Trick Room and then be faster opponents in that regard. which is another great option. I do want to obviously mention this was another one of our trades. Glade is popping out from the left corner. He's feeling very ignored. We did drop Glade, obviously, because we already had the fighting type for Okie Dokie. And I felt grabbing... We didn't have a normal type, and I feel like that Ghost Immunity was so valuable. And obviously, with how slow our team is and how bulky it is, I feel like Wish Passing... I don't think I've ever properly drafted a bulky team with Wish, so I'm really excited to see how good that is. Just being able to wish up things like our Gudras, our Okidogis, our Goldengos, our Gliscors, our Primarinas. Those wishes, 120 HP, I think that's the biggest HP stat on our entire team. They're going to heal like 60-70% of their HP, which is just going to make our team so tough. Our team is going to be very, very annoying to play against. But yeah, this thing just helps like glue the team together, keep it all healthy, which is really, really important for the team. Also, I'm not going to mention that one set that I was thinking of because I need it for an upcoming week, but you'll eventually see it. It's a fun set. So yeah, let's see. Next up, we have the last one of the team. If you thought there was going to be two more, I'm very, very sorry. My graphics lied. But yeah, we have the thing, our final tank, Avila Kisui. This is a mon I've drafted. I think this is the only mon I've ever drafted before. And it's just old reliable, right? It's the old reliable physical wall. It's not going to be broken. It's our second Terror Cat. We have Ice, Water Ghost. Ice, obviously, just allows our Ice Stab to be super strong. Water makes us resist those incoming 4x super effective flash cannons. And also is just a great bulky typing. And Ghost gives us a second spin blocker. And also allows us to be immune to incoming fighting moves that want to hit us for 4x super effective. We have Strong Jaw, which doesn't see much action outside of like Ice Fang and Crunch. Ice Body, we're not going to have Hail, so that's not also useful. But we're mainly going to be running Sturdy, which means this thing can't be one shot. It's obviously it's our spinner for the team. It gives us a second rocker. I don't think anything else on our team gets rocks other than Gliscor. We have 95 HP, 184 defense. Like, body presses are going to hurt. Like, I would have loved to run Terrifying on this, but I just feel like I don't need it. Its defense is already astronomical. This thing, like, any physical Pokemon just has to respect Avalugg, right? Avalugg, just as soon as it terrors, you can't break it down. It has Recover. Recover is so good on this to be able to just completely shut down opposing mons, and it can hit hard with that 127 attack, so things can't even like reliably set up in front of it for fear of getting hit by something like a Heavy Slam or a Mountain Gale or a Body Press. This thing is so good. Obviously, if we ever come into anything on the special side, we're going to crumble like a paper bag. But I think Avalugg, for what it is, 3 points, Terra Captain comes in, does its job. It's so reliable in that slot as a physical wall. And it just gives us... we were a bit more Spadeffi, bulky, I feel like, on the team. So this kind of just mellows that out and gives us that out-and-out special physical wall. I mean, not special wall. This thing crumbles with special hits. But yeah, that's the team for MMC. I'm very, very excited to use this team. It's a very, very bulky, slow team. Maybe I'll be punished very, very hard for that. Or maybe it'll do really, really well. I'm excited to see which of the two it is. Probably the first one. But yeah, that's the team for MMC. And I'll see you lot all. Depending on when this goes out. It should be going out on Wednesday or Thursday this week, I believe. This weekend should be our week 1 game. Where we're playing the Starter Supremes. So yeah, I will link the channels of all the... fellow players who upload in the description, so make sure to check them out as well, and I'll see you lot all for week 1. Bye.